Welcome to Nini Presents, and today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to put together an art video. In my spare time, I do a lot of artwork, a lot of different styles, mostly abstract, impressionist, that kind of thing. I work largely with watercolor and acrylics and ink, and I like doing cartoon drawings. And eventually I'm going to put up a website where if you like, you can go and get prints, or eventually I'll have things on Etsy and you can go to Etsy and buy the originals, but it's probably cheaper to buy a print. I'm just saying, original artwork is not cheap. I'm telling you, as an artist, when you put a lot of time and energy into something creative like that, for example, I'll put some pictures up so you can see what I'm talking about, some of the artwork. There's one ink drawing that I did. It's called Midnight in the Dreams of a Girl Who Loves Pablo. I know, a title like 10 miles long, right? Can you tell? Hispanic runs in my family. I mean, if that were a child, I would have named her like 12 names. You know, Maria Conchita Gonzalez, Lupita Gutierrez. Something ridiculous like that, right? Anyways, I totally lost where I was. Now I got to start this shit over. Okay, so before I forgot where the heck I was talking about the amount of time that an artist puts into their artwork and the cost of original artwork. In this one ink drawing that I did, the one with the really long title, and that I probably put close to 40 hours into that. And actually the piece came out really good. Hopefully I can find that picture and upload it here so you can see what I'm talking about. And what I did was I went through a couple of books that I had on Pablo Picasso and took out some of my favorite drawings and then just recreated them and then added a whole bunch of my stuff and kind of tried to make it flow like it would be in a dream. And it actually came out really, really nice. But as an artist, and of course I'm not professionally trained, so, you know, I can't charge from that perspective, you know, and I can't say I ever worked for Disney or anything like that, no. Everything that I've learned, it's self-taught, or I learned from my mom, who's a fabulous artist. She's had professional training, I have not. Unless you want to count my high school art class. Mr. Monte, if you're still around, hello. And sure, part of the value of the artwork is what the person who's viewing it, what they see in it, you know, how the art makes them feel inside, what emotions it creates within them. Are they good memories, or are they good emotions, or are they not? So anyways, I have a lot of artwork I would like to share with people. And the originals, a lot of them I've spent so much time on some of the things that I create, I end up just giving them away because, I mean, even if I charged minimum wage hourly on some of the artwork that I did, it would still be ridiculous. Like the picture I was just talking about, that was almost 40 hours worth of work. I mean, are you really going to charge that much for an ink drawing? I mean, what was it, 16 by 20? That's a lot. So what I'm going to do now is have some paintings on Etsy, and it's at WEM Wood. That's the Etsy site, WEM Wood. And my son-in-law Seth also has some woodworking things that he has created and put on there, really nice items. Take a look at them. So what I've decided to do is, it's a website where I can upload photos of artwork that I've done, and you, as a person who perhaps may be interested in anything that I've painted, can look at it, find the print that you like, point, click, print it, they'll send it to you, and that's wonderful. Then you'll have a copy, and you won't have to be paying the cost of an original. You can pay, you know, the cost of a poster, which is much more. There's a lot of artwork that I like, and a lot of times I just don't have the money to pay hundreds of dollars for an original or thousands of dollars for an original. So what I will do is, because I have some artistic talent, I'll take a picture of it and just go home and repaint it, or look it up on Google and just repaint it myself. Depending on the style, a lot of my style tends to be different. So if I want to paint something that's like a Rembrandt or something like that, it is not going to come out in that style, that realistic looking style. That's not the style I paint in. Mine will come out looking more like Van Gogh or Picasso or somewhat cartoony. That's more my style. You'll see once I get a website up, take a look at it. You'll see the different styles that I do. So what I wanted to do was put together an art video. Originally, my goal was to do a painting from scratch. But then I took a look at all my canvases and I realized, well, you have how many paintings that you have not finished? So instead of starting with a brand new painting, why not finish a couple of paintings, 3 or 4 paintings? See how many we can get done today. Let's go. So in my painting area, this is what I have. I have some acrylic paints by Gumbrocker here. I like Gumbrocker. Good paints. They're not too thin. And if I mess up and I have to cover one color with another, I've never had trouble covering a dark color with a light color. I also have some ink pens here, some watercolor pens, and some regular markers. I use those in some of my paintings that are mixed media. And this is the first painting that we're going to start with. It's actually called Chickens and Sunflowers. And I was just doodling around with shapes and shapes within shapes. And I kind of liked the circles within the circles, like the Venn diagrams. And then for some reason I was thinking, you know, you could do chickens like that. I don't know what I was thinking. I know I was in Texas at the time that I painted or started painting this one. And now I've been here in Oregon for a couple of years, which tells you how long I've had this painting just sitting there unfinished, totally unfinished. My goodness. So what I need to finish on it today is, and this is the silliest reason why it's been unfinished for so long. Right here, I dropped another paintbrush on it. So what we need to do to finish this one today is fix this. This has to be made red, and that small portion there has to be made the light yellow. So let's just grab some red. Let's see, which red should we use? Which one is this one? Alizarin Crimson. As opposed to, what is our other red? Ooh, that's a bright red, permanent red. We'll go with the darker one. Alizarin Crimson. I use one of these, it's like a wax paper, a palette wax paper. And after you're done using it, you just peel it right off. Yeah, got a whole bunch of them in there. Pretty convenient. Make sure you always have your little washcloth there. Let's see, what are we starting with? We'll go small. Ooh, that's really dark. Great. I bet you I'm going to have to redo all the red now. No, I think I had too much water in that. Yep, I for surely did. Let's get a little extra paint. Look at it, it's not covering that at all. I wonder what kind of paint I use. Sometimes I use the darndest mixtures, and then when I try to paint over it, I wonder why it will continue to show through. And I'm not thinking exactly what I mixed to get a certain shade. I mean, I've done things like ground up a little bit of I think it was pastel chalk. I ground up a little bit of it and added it, pardon me, to some of the acrylic paint that I had because I just wanted to get a certain color. And I didn't have anything else to mix with it in order to get that color. So I mixed acrylic and chalk. I have to say it didn't come out the greatest. I mean, it wasn't the worst. Could have been worse. You know, I should probably have like music in the background or something. Hold on, I gotta find something that's not copyright stuff, or this video will not be allowed on YouTube. Hold on. All right, we got some classical music. That's what we're gonna have to work with. I don't mind that, I like classical music. Let's see, this is Mozart, Marriage of Figaro. Sounds good. Okay, now that we have this red drying, let's work on covering this green portion that's in the yellow there. So I've taken out a little bit of yellow ochre, and I say yellow, that's great stuff. Yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and a little bit of titanium white. So let's mix these boogers together. Hopefully I can get that shade. That's kind of yellowy. Do I have a yellow over there? Yeah, I do. Let's go a little bit more. Or I think I don't have enough yellow in that. Let's see. You know, that's not that far off. Oh, I am surprised. Woo, doggy. I love it when a plan come together. All right. Let's try this hokey pokey out. Nope, that's a little bit brown. Okay. Let's try a little bit more white. I hope you guys can hear that classical music. Oh, that's a little bit better. How about that? Ah, no, I shouldn't be tooting my horn too quickly. I've done things before where I went to repair a painting, went in and repaired it with one of those early celebration deals, dropped the paintbrush right on the painting and just had so much more work to do. I was so upset that day. Okay. Well, that was a very small repair job. Imagine, oh, actually, you know what? I need to fill this in, because I'm pretty sure I intended for that to be all green. So let's see what green we should do. No, I don't want it too dark, but I don't want it light. Shall we do this green? What is this? Chrome oxide green. Well, yeah, let's do it. All right. All right. Let's see. Nope, not that brush. So what we actually ended up doing here, I did go back and I filled in right here. I filled in the green, and then I refreshed this green here because there was just, you know how sometimes you're painting with a cheap brush, which is what I do sometimes, because not because I'm trying to be cheap, but because buying A brush can be really expensive sometimes, and so I'll go for a cheaper brush, but you'll get pieces of that brush, the little hairs that come off. And they stick to the paint, and then by the time they fall off, you have this big void where paint would otherwise be. So I just went back through, refreshed that, refreshed here, evened out the blue that was here because it looked a little uneven there. And then in the sunflower that was here, I just refreshed it a little bit. So now this painting is done. It came out really nice. It really did. And it only took how many years? Now I do have a couple other paintings also to finish, to work on. But because this video is already considerably long, I'm going to end it here and then just do the other videos all together. So, and then hopefully, once, let me just put it this way, once I actually get my website up and running, where you can go on and get a copy of any number of prints that I'll have available to you, then I'll get that information out to you. I don't have that up quite yet. A little bit of a ways off from doing that. Trying to get it done. Trying to do a whole bunch of things. Learning on the fly. Doing things by myself. So this is a challenge. So I'm hitting roadblocks here and there, but it's a good experience overall. I'm learning good things. So I'll end this video here, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good night.